Aglorev Magazine Live is brought to you by
Beroga Leilani's Energy Exchange. Express yourself without saying a word.
and
Aglorev Entertainment. Mind, body, soul, energy, healing. Welcome back to Aglorev Magazine Live, your reliable source for assistance with navigating the 3D. So much has happened in a week. Are you doing the work to get you through eclipse season and onto your highest possible timeline? And now, we've reached Libra season. I have some excellent guidance to help you through the retrogrades. Also, if you've ever found yourself in the friend zone and just want out, I can help with that. A beautiful statue of Trump is erected into celebration of Friendship Month, and Trump addresses the United Nations. Love Island is blending and playing games. Big Brother is getting less exciting, but continues. And a little movie recommendation followed by some jokes. So tuck in, pay attention, and tune in each week to stay informed and prepared. I'm here for you. If you need further assistance or personalized attention, contact me through my site. Welcome to Libra season. All of the hard work you put in to balance the scales and bring some justice into your life over the past several years. Well, now it's the time we get to live in the rewards. We're coming out of the South Node in Libra energy. We're also coming out of the eclipse energy. Both Pisces and Virgo, and Libra and Venus were pretty involved with our previous Virgo eclipse. That happened on September 21st. So now, if you've done the work to balance the scales, bringing in a proportional shift of the balance over the previous couple of years, you will start to see the benefit of the work that you've done. And the eclipse's energy is long term. So because of that, this Libra season is going to start that scale balance and reception of the rewards of the work that you finished. Virgo is where we accidentally sign up for contracts. Libra is where we figure out the exchange, what it's worth, and how we'll achieve it. And then Scorpio is where the exchange happens. So good that we're about to go through a Scorpio season with Pluto in Aquarius for the first time in most of our lives for the entire season. We had a taste at the end of 2024 Scorpio season, but it was literally only 3 days. So prepare for a big transformation in Scorpio season. And then we're also coming out of the South Node of Libra. So we'll be reaping the harvest of the things that we do for justice during Libra season, equipping us to go through this amazing transformation once we get to Scorpio season. So stay focused this Libra season. Now, a couple dates to pay attention to. October 19th and 20th is when the moon cycle comes to a close. So we're going to see some completions on things that you've been working on. And October 13th and 14th is when Pluto goes direct. Another time we have a big harvest coming. So I hope you've done the work to be through with the old life you've been living, or the old chapter of life of Libra. Venus, justice-oriented space. Also for a lot of people, it's very mother-related because of where the dark moon was in 2024. Be kind to yourself. If things don't fully work out, totally and completely, we've had the really major shifts of the eclipse. And now, it's time to get into our flow state. Starting next year, we have the Aquarius eclipse node coming, which is going to be a little bit mad. So let yourself rest, receive. We're going to be moving on. Big transformations in about a month. So let yourself use all of October to get ready for one of those biggest shifts you're probably ever made in your lifetime. We have our outer planets doing things. Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. Saturn is going direct at the end of November. Neptune goes direct at the beginning of December. Pluto goes direct in the middle of October. And it's the first Scorpio season we've had with Pluto in Aquarius for the entire Scorpio season. Take the time in October to get ready. The unpredictable, massive shifts that'll happen in November. I don't have the words to explain it to you. It's somewhat incomprehensible. But if you're taking the time in October to get ready, you will be prepared and not scared. If you're tuning in each week, you'll be able to follow along in your life. And the clarity I give you will keep you calm. And you'll know when to act and when to let things lie. And if you'd like more specific clarity, I also do divination and chart readings. You can catch me directly live for discounted readings or schedule them through my site for that private, personalised attention. We have also have a load of conjunctions and crossings November. Mercury retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, and then Saturn stops its retrograde and then adds Scorpio season. And then on top of that, the fact that Neptune and Saturn have been doing this dance for years now. And Neptune is in a 14-year transit, and Saturn is exiting Pisces around the same time, and their retrogrades are also synced up. So we're closing a 14-year era and setting ourselves up for another one. This is the first time in 18 years and the first Scorpio season where we'll have Pluto fully in Scorpio. Be prepared for something big. And with Mercury retrograde happening during Scorpio season, where Uranus is going to be ruling over that Pluto partially, we can expect to see some really big unbindings societally and some really big new bindings or new chapters, almost like an earthquake. We never know exactly where the earthquake will be, where it will happen. We can tell the magnitude and generally where, but basically the earth moves when it's ready and we can just prepare. That's how the energies will be. Things moving around in humanity, trends changing, not just on social media, but the trends of society, the way that society is moving, what we agree on and what we don't agree on. Spiritual practitioners will have an advantage. Visions and divination practices will be heightened. I am one of those practitioners. So if you need answers or more clarity on your journey, contact me through my site. Falling for a friend might sound ideal for plenty of people. Who wouldn't want to wake up each morning to someone with whom you've already shared dozens of inside jokes and memories? But in reality, there are often some roadblocks in the journey from friends to lovers. For example, maybe a friend doesn't necessarily see you in the same light, or at least at first. The friend zone is a pretty controversial concept. Some fear it, whilst others refute its very existence. But whether you believe in the zone or not, getting stuck there, aka realizing you have feelings for a friend who sees you as nothing more than that. It's rarely fun if you find yourself catching feelings for a friend after a few months of shared laughter or deep chats. It's important to know that you're not wrong for how you feel. That said, there isn't a guarantee that the other person will want your platonic connection to become romantic. But friends can evolve over time. If you feel that one of you is not ready to leave the friend zone, it doesn't mean that she'll never be ready or willing to have a romantic relationship. If you're stuck in the friend zone right now and wondering what to do next, worried about your crush ending with you feeling crushed, or have you found yourself feeling butterflies around a friend, but you're not sure whether they share your affection? Maybe you flirt with them every time you go out with a group, but you can't tell if they are picking up on the vibes. If you know how you feel, but aren't sure where your friend stands, it's likely that you're in the friend zone. The friend zone is essentially a way to label a relationship that removes romantic intent. It makes it clear that one or both parties are not interested in pursuing a romantic relationship. The friend zone does exist, and many people experience rejection and pain when they're in it. If they were hoping for a romantic connection, but it isn't the end of the world. And you don't have to be stuck there forever. It can be harder to gauge whether your friend may have feelings for you if the friendship is new or they're more reserved when sharing personal things. That said, there are some telltale signs that you're in the friend zone. They emphasize the platonic nature of your connection. If your crush regularly points out your role as their friend, it's likely you're in the friend zone. This can manifest in the form of friendship language or monikers, including buddy, mate, pal, bro, or even friend. This is especially the case if they use these words in response to compliments or expressions of affection from you. If you often hang out in group settings, you might be in the friend zone. If you're finding it difficult to plan one-on-one hangouts with your crush. Now, are they always bringing along another person when you grab drinks together? Or do they typically suggest inviting the group chat when you ask them to see a movie together? This may be an indicator of the friend zone. If the flirting isn't mutual, whether your friend is oblivious to your efforts or they're intentionally trying to redirect the conversation. The friend zone usually involves one-sided flirting. This sign might be hard to read at first. After all, people can have different flirting styles, but it may likely become obvious over time. If your flirty comments or banter are consistently unmatched, if they talk about their love life with you, or regularly vent to you about their bad dates, or frustration with dating apps, or they often gush about their own crushes, they probably see you as just a friend. The openness about their dating prospects likely means they don't share your vision for a romantic future. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be as comfortable forthcoming about their latest hookups or Tinder matches. If they play matchmaker, you're probably in the friend zone. If they try to set you up with someone else, that's a clear sign that they only see you as a friend. Think about it this way. If they felt you may be a romantic match for them, would they really encourage you to see other people? If you've already made your feelings known and your friend doesn't feel the same way, it's important to respect their position. After all, you don't want to force a relationship with someone who might not reciprocate your feelings. But if you haven't yet tested the waters, it's not impossible for a platonic connection to grow into a romantic one. In fact, sometimes catching feelings for a friend can start the best kind of relationship, because you already have a solid foundation of mutual respect and appreciation. Value your friendship. Approaching your friend about your romantic feelings can catch them off guard, or even send them into a panic about the future of your friendship, especially if you don't feel the same way. So, make it clear that you value your place in their life above all, whether they also want to date you or not. If it's true, let your friend know that you want to continue the friendship with them, whether or not they are interested in becoming more than just friends. Let them know you can put your feelings aside and continue an authentic friendship, but you would really like to explore being more than friends. And consider how your friendship could be impacted by sharing your feelings with a friend. It will affect both you and your connection. Think before you act. Can your friendship bounce back? If your attraction isn't reciprocated, the biggest thing to consider is whether you think the friendship can survive an awkward conversation. If you confess your feelings and your friend does not feel the same way, if the answer is no, you should consider whether you value your friendship with them more than you need to get those feelings off your chest. Also, think about the future. If they are willing to try a romantic relationship, keep in mind that no matter how long you have been friends, trying to step out of the friend zone has the potential to alter your relationship permanently. You should think about how your friendship might change, or whether it can even continue if you both give a romantic connection a shot and things don't work out. If your chemistry doesn't translate into a dating vibe, consider the potential that things might feel awkward if you try and step back into a platonic friendship, and start slowly. Although your excitement about your crush can be overwhelming, take baby steps when it comes to sharing how you feel with your friend, rather than sweeping romantic gestures or bombarding them with a love confession. You can test the waters by throwing in a flirty comment here and there. Another way to showcase your interest is by using their love language in small ways. For example, you can playfully ask if they dressed up just for you the next time they look nice during a hangout. That's a form of words of affirmation. Or surprise them with their favourite drink or snack when you see them next. It's a form of gifts. Point out the benefits of a romantic relationship even before you confess your feelings. You can plant seeds about a potential relationship, the reasons you feel like the pair of you would make a good romantic match. Explain to them why you feel this way. Do you have a lot in common? Are you comfortable discussing hard topics with each other? Do you have similar values? And it doesn't hurt to throw in those observations and then gauge the other person's reactions. Sometimes mentioning the pros of taking your friendship to the next level can bring more awareness to things your friends may not have ever given much thought to before. Always mind their boundaries. It goes without saying that consent is key, and you should always consider your friends' comfort levels and needs. Taking a major risk, like initiating physical contact or an overtly suggestive comment, can backfire quickly. Respecting the other person's feelings and boundaries are essential. If you find yourself in the friend zone, clear and honest communication can help both parties understand and navigate the relationship better. Whether it remains platonic or has the potential to develop into something more. Approach the concept gently, opening up a dialogue about your feelings, and showing vulnerability can go a long way. Make sure your friend feels safe and welcome to share whatever they're feeling, whether it's aligned or at odds with what you express. You can start by saying something like, "I know we both value honesty And because I care about you, I want to be honest with you. Whilst we have a great friendship, I find myself curious about building a romantic connection with you. Have you ever thought about it? And find the right time. If your friend is complaining to you about an ex, reaching back out, or if you're chilling together at a group movie night, you may want to hold off on trying to get out of the friend zone. Choosing the right moment to start the conversation about your feelings for them is key. Finding a good time to have the conversation where you both have privacy and enough time to discuss your feelings without being rushed. This can also be a clear way to show your friend that you are trying to rush into transitioning your relationship and that you're considering them and their comfort before starting the conversation. It's important to note, however, that if your friend is already in a relationship or they're going through a difficult time and you know it wouldn't be fair to spring your feelings on them, it's best to hold off. But make sure to speak up before it's too late, as long as you think they're in the mindset to have the conversation, as they aren't hung up on someone else. It's wise to address your feelings as soon as you feel prepared to. This can save you from regret or resentment down the line. Be honest and direct. Own your truth. Honor your voice and share your feelings. You never want to look back and wish you would have said something. Even if it's not the desired outcome, at least you know you tried. And don't pressure them. You should still want to be a good friend. Avoid giving them an ultimatum between romance or ending the friendship. This is unfair and can damage the potential relationship and the existing friendship. Once again, consent is key, and your friendship should be the first priority. Even if you feel strongly that you would make a great couple, the decision isn't entirely up to you. Putting pressure on them or being pushy is never okay. And making your friend feel comfortable, heard, and validated can go a long way. Sharing your heart with a friend you're attracted to takes courage. And you deserve to feel proud that you took that leap, regardless of the outcome. Even if they don't feel the same way about you, you can still feel at least a little bit relief, knowing that you spoke your truth. Unrequited feelings for a friend doesn't have to mean that the relationship is over. Taking a slight step back from the friendship, if you feel like you need time to heal from the rejection, is redirection, meaning it can lead to something even better down the line. So taking time for self-care and putting your energy towards attracting a relationship you want. Above all, the most important thing to keep in mind when a friend doesn't reciprocate your feelings is that it doesn't define who you are, and it doesn't mean you're any less of an amazing person. Remember that just because someone isn't attracted to you romantically doesn't mean you are unattractive or unlovable. One person's opinion does not define you or your worth. This is not your person. That's because there's someone else out there who is even better suited for you. If you need a bit of guidance or help with your dating list, or you'd like clarity or an interpretation of the actions or words of your crush, contact me through my site. As President Donald Trump was preparing to speak to the United Nations in New York City on Tuesday, September 23rd, a statue of the Republican leader mysteriously appeared on the National Mall back in Washington, D.C. Unlike the gilded installation of the president unveiled last week that praised his support of cryptocurrency, This most recent statue is not on the flattering sort. The 12-foot piece depicts the president holding hands with the late financier and convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein, each looking at the other and smiling. They are both shown balancing on one leg in the middle of what the piece's creators described as a prance. In one of the 3 plaques affixed to the workspace, which is painted to the look like marble, an inscription reads, "We celebrate the long-lasting bond between President Donald J. Trump and his closest friend, Jeffrey Epstein." A group called the Secret Handshake Project is taking credit for the surprise protest art piece, which is the 3rd such anti-Trump installation to pop up in the Capitol since June. The group also erected the so-called dictator-approved piece, an 8-foot-tall sculpture of a hand squashing the crown of the Statue of Liberty, whilst making a thumbs-up gesture, and the gold TV statue. Multimedia installation in which a golden TV showed images of Trump dancing with Epstein. We're a very small group of citizens who are using art, irony, and humour to express social commentary and spark political conversations in public spaces. The group said in a September 23rd statement to US Today. The Secret Handshake Project said the piece is Celebration of Friendship Month, a tongue-in-cheek reference to the once close friendship between Trump and Epstein, who passed away through suicide in jail in 2019 whilst awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Trump's administration has come under intense criticism over its handling of records related to the case, rankling many leading voices within the MAGA sphere. The statue is across the street from the US Capitol building, facing the expanse of the National Mall lawns that lead to the Washington Monument. The Secret Handshake Project said the installment is permitted with the National Park Service and should remain up through the end of the week. The 2 other plaques placed at the foot of the statue's depiction of Trump and Epstein include lines from a controversial birthday note that the president allegedly wrote to Epstein in 2003. The birthday note is written in the form of a conversation between Jeffrey and Donald. It was publicly released by the House Oversight Committee on September 8th. The note's lines of text are surrounded by the outline of a naked woman's body, and Trump's purported signature is in the place of pubic hair. Trump has denied writing the note and has sued the Wall Street Journal for its initial reporting of the matter. Protests, art installations related to the Epstein scandal have followed the president overseas as well. 4 people in England were arrested in connection with images of Trump with his arm around the late sex offender that were projected onto Windsor Castle, the home of the British royal family. During the president's state visit to the United Kingdom, September 16th, President Donald Trump delivered a combative speech to the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday morning, lambasting the international body whilst touting the work of his administration. Trump spared no criticism in the hour-long address, beginning with his predecessor, former President Joe Biden, before taking aim at world leaders over everything from migration to Russian-Ukraine war. 1 year ago, our country was in deep trouble, but today just 8 months into my administration. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. And there is no other country even close, he said. At the top of his remarks, Trump touted the US as having the strongest borders, military, and relationships around the world. The president then turned his attention to the United Nations, accusing it of not living up to its promise, and even more, accused it of bringing out more problems. What is the purpose of the United Nations? Trump asked. It has such tremendous potential, but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. All they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war. The only thing that solves war and wars is action. Trump accused the organization of ignoring conflicts around the world that he claims he solved, casting himself as a peacemaker. Everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one of these achievements, Trump says. But for me, the real prize will be the sons and daughters who live to grow up with their mothers and fathers, because millions of people are no longer being killed in endless, inglorious wars. Trump said the United States is prepared to enforce a very strong round of powerful tariffs on Russia should Moscow not be ready to make a peace deal. But he said other countries need to pull back on buying Russian oil and energy products. Otherwise, we're all wasting a lot of time. Europe has to step it up. They cannot be doing what they're doing. They're buying oil and gas from Russia whilst they are fighting Russia. It's embarrassing for them, Trump said. Trump also took a moment to criticize China and India, calling them the main sponsors of the war in Ukraine because of their purchase of Russian oil. The president has threatened for months to impose harsher economic penalties on Russia, but has yet to do so. He didn't say on Tuesday what it would take for him to determine Russia doesn't want peace, though he said the war is not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad. Trump said other countries should be modeling the US on the issue of immigration. Not only is the United Nations not solving the problems it should, too often it's actually creating new problems for us to solve, Trump said. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. To the leaders gathered in the conference hall, Trump said, your countries are going to hell. He also encouraged leaders to reject policies geared towards fighting climate change and global warming, falsely calling climate change the greatest con job ever, and touting his administration's withdrawal from the Paris Agreement. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail, Trump said. On Israel's war against Hamas in Gaza, Trump said, the world has to come together to end the war in Gaza. He reiterated that he wanted to see the hostages released immediately, but offered no clear path forward or progressive negotiations. Trump continued to express his disagreement with countries moving to recognize Palestinian statehood. Several key US allies, most recently France, have announced that they are recognizing a Palestinian state now, as if to encourage continued conflict. Some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state, the rewards would be too great for Hamas, terrorists, for their atrocities, Trump said. Trump instead called for a united message from the body of Hamas to release hostages. Those who want peace should be united with one message. Release the hostages now. Just release the hostages now. Thank you, Trump said. The president highlighted his administration's recent strike against alleged narcotics from Venezuela, an unprecedented use of the lethal military force against the criminal enterprise that has raised legal questions. We've recently begun using the supreme power of United States military to destroy Venezuelan terrorists and trafficking networks led by Nicolas Maduro, and to every terrorist thug smuggling poisonous drugs into the United States of America, Trump said in his speech. Please be warned that we will blow you out of existence. That's what we're doing. We have now officially begun the season of Love Island Games Season 2. Now, basically they bring in all of the international contestants from other Love Island series all over the world. They bring them together, they perform in competitions, they choose whether it's for love or money, and this season is for $250,000, $250K for those who do not know what that is. Anyway, we are going to start with the first week breakdown. I have not quite caught up with everything on this, so for the first week we are going to cover up until the unseen bits. Now, it is a very loaded season, so there is a lot to unpack. Let's start with Nicola. She is from a little island off the coast of Italy. She speaks several languages. She is very intelligent. However, she does not have the self-awareness or the sexiness of the other girls, which leads her, she ends up being paired up with Isaiah from Love Island USA, and you see where at first he finds her attractive, he thinks she will be a hidden competitor, and he's attracted to her for that. However, she starts to make fun of his English. Now, ladies, if you fancy someone, don't start making fun of them until after they care about you, because it will put them off of you just for a little bit. So she has put him off of her. Now, she is also excited when Chris says that she was his second choice. Now, that in essence is a pygmy show. Now, I do tell my clients, do not be bothered necessarily if you feel you are the second choice, because you don't necessarily know that you are the second choice. You could in fact be the 15th or the 20th. You just know of one other person that he could have picked above you. So do not get stuck on numbers. Some of the best gems come out of the most unexpected places. They are basing this on an initial physical spark. It may grow into something more. So that being said, do not get stuck up on that. Trust in the connection. Also trust in who they are if they show you who they are. There's a delicate balance. Now, the connection between Nicola and Isaiah is no longer a romantic one, so that puts her in this unfortunate box of, okay, I came here for love, but he wants to win money, so I want to look elsewhere, but nobody really fancies me, so we'll see where that goes. But the lesson from her is flirt better. Okay, then we have Gabi, who is actually quite an adorable flirter. She is quite intelligent, and again, Chris insults her intelligence because she comes in first and so does Chris, and Chris says he was looking for someone who is intelligent, and Chris is, I'm going to save it up for him, but he is incredibly cocky, and it gives me the ick with every move that he makes. But anyway, I know he has a big fan base and people think he is this great man, but ladies, this shows how incredibly misguided you are and how far off your gaydar is. But I will get to that in a minute. Now, Gabi and Ken. They're so cute, like Barbie and Ken. She does pick Kendall, which they are actually a quite adorable couple. She is the black cat, he is the golden retriever. Very lovable, very cute. She's actually still a virgin, which she actually does disclose to him, which is actually adorable how he responds to that. They do have a lot of chemistry, they do have a lot of heat. Their physical chemistry is adorable, they look great together. Hopefully they last. Like I said, I've only been through the first week, so hopefully things haven't happened that I already don't know about, but at this point, hopefully they last. They have a very cute connection. He came in last, she came in first. They are polar opposites. It's like the yin and the yang. It's cute. Hopefully that one will work. he does not seem to be the brightest bulb, but hopefully she can balance off of that, and perhaps her intelligence, his physicality, maybe that could be a good balance. Next we have Lucinda in Mert. Mert is from the Netherlands, Lucinda is from the UK. I love Lucinda. I've been watching her when she was on UK, when she was on Australia, and now here. She has grown and she is getting more beautiful with each year. She still is a little bit ditzy, which I still find adorable. She's a little bit self-centered, where she is really focused on herself, which is not a bad thing. That is actually how women should be, and I encourage them to be. So that is another lesson to learn. She's thinking about herself, her goals, and what her vision is, and he follows her. Even when the French girl steals her, the Solène steals Mert, he is still missing Lucinda. Take note of that. He is the most attractive one at that point, and he is still into her because she is into herself. That is a very good lesson. Now, she had to build her confidence in the games, and you can see her growth, which is amazing, because she didn't think she could do it. People thought that she was, whatever. She comes in last, and then she wins in the duel. Didn't even know what that was, and now she has a thirst for it. Now she's a competitor. It's amazing to watch her growth, and he is loving watching her blossom and grow. And watching her blossom and grow with each season, each time I see her, it's amazing. So hopefully by the end of this, like, if I had to pick someone that I was rooting for at this point, it would be Lucinda. She is my little dark horse, my favorite, and I've been watching her, so we'll see how she goes. Mert, I do love the fact that he does seem to focus and keep steady and unwavering. He did win his season. I can see a lot of those relationship qualities. He seems to be emotionally intelligent. Unfortunately, he cannot speak that great of English, which is how I love my men. But it cuts down on the arguments, and that for the exact same reason why I love my men not to speak that much English, it keeps him on a very stable, steady foundation, and it bases the relationship more on actions and deeds rather than words, which is actually what you need. So that is also why I love my men that speak little English, and then once they learn it. But anyway, they are very cute. They are my number one at this point. Then we have Andrea, who keeps getting tossed back and forth because she's a beautiful blonde. The bombshell Charlie takes her, but she was originally with Josh, who, what is with these men? He says, I'm playing checkers, you're playing chess. These men are not the brightest bulbs or the sharpest blades or any of those metaphors. They are not intelligent. These men are not intelligent, not necessarily athletic. But we will see where they go. Some of them are cute. So Josh is, we'll see if he gets her back. But then we're going to go to Adrina, because I want to save Chris for last, because that's the most one to unpack. Adrina is very physically focused. She is an F girl. With all due respect, there is nothing wrong with that. However, when you are leading with your physicality, and I mean, yes, she has invested some money into her body, and yes, she wants you to see that. However, for ladies out there, even if you invest in augmentations, it does not mean that you need to lead with that. That could be something for your confidence. That could also be something just for yourself. You do not have to show the world that, and maybe that is the reason why you're getting it. Perhaps she is a midnight ballerina, and that helps increase her earnings. No judgments, but if you lead with the physicality, that is the type of attention you will draw, and those are the type of relationships that you will have, and they may not necessarily be as fulfilling as you would want them to be. So that being said, have a beautiful body, have a beautiful aura, know that within yourself, do it for yourself, but do not project that out. Let that be discovered. Keep that as your secret weapon. Keep that as something that you share with that person that is lucky enough to win you over. Make them earn it. Make sure they like it. Which brings me to Chris and KK. This has the most to unpack, because I've been saying since Love Island USA that Chris is a very, 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 very strong specimen of a DL energy vampire. If he latches onto you, if he latches onto a woman, it's only for that energetic vampirism to feed into his dreams. He's a very cocky sort, this one is, and his DL is even more apparent in Love Island games, I think, because he's in there for the money and he's not even trying to focus on the love. His intro looked like gay porn. I'm sorry. Everything about his intro was ridiculous. He was playing straight. He was licking his lips. He was touching his chest. He was shaking his curls. And even the swish from the basketball. I played basketball, netball, whatever country. And yeah, I don't have that. Watch it. He does it. You would think that they paid him to pan him to be gay. Like, it looks like gay porn. Like some of the things, like, you can't deny it. Just watch it. The way he looks, the way he moves, the way he doesn't even pretend. That swish. It was just like, yeah, it was too good. He did that swish a little bit too much. Like, you do not need to be rubbing your chest. You do not need to be licking your lips. You're play acting to what you think a straight person looks like. And it's crazy. And the thing is, he's cocky. He's too cocky. Oh, I'm sure you all know who I am. And oh, this competition is just, I don't remember the term he used, but the cakewalk, I think it was what it was. He is incredibly cocky for somebody who didn't even make it into the real NBA. I'm sorry, he didn't. So his rejection is playing out that he's overcompensating. And let me clarify and specify, DL is not having a homoerogenous experience with another male, because in my opinion, probably 80 to 90% of males do have a homoerogenous experience with another male. That does not make you DL. Well, DL is a man who does not like women, does not like them, not fluid, not bisexual, however you want to call it. They like both sexes. DL does not like women, may want to be a woman so that they can get all of the attention that woman has, and may want to be around women so they can bask in all of the attention that woman has. But clearly they do not like women, but they will use women. And they actually hate women, and they pretend that they like women, and they put them and their health in danger as a result of the dishonesty. That's the main issue that I have with it, is not liking them and putting them in positions of harm. It has nothing to do with having anything against men being with men. It has to do with not liking a woman, but yet pretending you are to put her in danger. That being said, Chris is in the villa because he thinks this time he can focus on the money and just keep blaming his lack of interest and dislike of women on the fact that he's there focused on money. He even said, it's secondary, so he has an excuse. Watch him when he's with the men. Watch how his energy leans into them. His hips, when they're cooking, his hips are leaned into them. He's facing forward, but his energy is towards them. When he is sitting there talking to KK, his body language is so closed off. He's facing forward. He's looking to her out of the side. Even his face and his energy is so uncomfortable, as if he doesn't want to be there, but he's doing that for the cameras. He's forcing himself to play straight. And he's acting like he's texting her when he's describing, oh, you jumped on top of me at the thing and you kissed me, and it was, she was there, she knows what it was. You don't have to describe it to her as if that's going to turn her on and be enough, as if when you're texting someone that would be enough. No, he's doing that, and he's saying that because he really doesn't want to kiss her. He's doing it for the cameras, and she's wondering, why isn't he kissing me? Because, lovely, he's DL, and you just, for some reason, these girls just don't see it, which to me is clear as day, and that is why I'm here to help you look for the signs. His body language is closed off, he's looking forward, he's nervous, his energy, he's looking to the side of his face, but when he's with the men, he's leaned in, he's relaxed, his energy is fluid, he's smiling, he's joking, his curls are bouncing, he's not pretending to be something. And when he's with the women, he's overtly cocky, he's just acting so ick. And the fact that these women cannot see this, even, it just breaks my heart. So hopefully we can bring a little bit more awareness to this, because when he does latch onto a woman, the thing that he's latching onto her for is her energy, her healing. He uses it to elevate his game. So if he does attach to one here in the games, it is probably so that he can use her to win. And we will see if that plays out. But the way he's playing now, I'd say he gets kicked off because he is not satisfying the feminine. He is, perhaps for those few months in between Love Island and Love Island games, he indulged in his freak side, and now the women are even more abhorrible to him, and they just disgust him. To be honest, if he could, maybe in a future version of Love Island, they may allow men to be with each other, because they did allow the women in last season, although it was cut short. I don't know if that's something that they will allow or not. Maybe it would make them feel a little bit more free. It's a little bit, unfortunately, different for the men, apparently, on Love Island, so that unfortunately reflects in society that they're okay with showing women, but they're not with men. So we will see where that will take us in society, and how that affects the psyche of our men, unfortunately, because a lot of them are fluid. Chris is DL, but a lot of them are fluid. So we will see how that evolves. But KK is confused as to why he talks about kissing her but doesn't kiss her. It's because he doesn't want to. He doesn't like women, my love. And it's best if you just move on. Ladies, once you start to realise, especially in the beginning, that his energy is not for you, run. It's not going to change. You are not going to change a DL man. He either feels it for you or he doesn't. And even a DL man can feel an attraction for a woman. However, again, he would be there in the beginning, and a man would act out on it. A man is very sexual, especially before he ejaculates. So you would feel that energy. So trust your instincts, trust your gut. Your gaydar is stronger than you think. And as we watch the progression of the season, hopefully I will be able to show you more clues, and that you will be able to hone your gaydar so that you are able to recognize these men and not caught in the traps of a DL man trying to use you for your energy and to promote his dreams and drain you and leave you with some sort of health problem or emotional problem where he labels you then crazy because you're acting out of the confusion that he left you with. But this is a very, 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 very good season to hone in on, because a lot of the people in there are ones that are perfect specimens for a lot of the things that I want to talk about. So this is the foundation. I will catch up on the season and hopefully be right on track with what's going on, so that, you know, hopefully I'm not talking about stuff that makes no more sense when you're already at the end. So next week, hopefully I'll be all caught up. But for now, if you have to, rewatch the very first episode, look at Chris's intro, look at all the things that I've told you about, look at his body language, look at how things are, and recognize those in your life so that you can recognize those traits in others and protect yourself from these types of people and predators that will try to rob you, so that you can have a healthy, long-lasting, thriving relationship with somebody who deserves you. So tune in each week and take notes. Now, the great development in this season's Big Brother is that one of the things I love most about Big Brother is that it mirrors society. It mirrors how the groups break apart and how they group together based on commonalities, or how they group up against each other and become bullies, etc. And what it's showing in this season of Big Brother is the evolution of the matriarch, which is something, in my personal opinion, that is starting to form in society right now. And the rise of the divine femme, the fact that no one even realized that all of the men were leaving. No one even batted an eye. The fact that Rachel was that matriarch, strong figure in the beginning, let them be okay with it. Let them not question it as each strong male left. Now, in a matriarchal society, how it happens, and how it happens in nature, is there will be a group of women, and they will get rid of all of the men except for the strongest, and then they will use that one to breed, which is why there's always a misconception that says there's one man that guards the women and then, you know, that's the alpha. No, what actually happens is the women kill all the other men because they are not strong enough or worthy or annoying and all those things, and then they keep the one because they only need him to breed at that point. Now, what is happening in the Big Brother house is exactly that. Now, unfortunately, Vince, fortunately or unfortunately, he somehow was the perfect specimen for this sort of a season, because he is sort of that Casanova ladies man. He had a hand in each and every woman's pockets, starting with Kelly the very first week, and he didn't even remember that they had a final two, and she went on the block to save him, ironically, so that they wouldn't think they were working together, and inadvertently he forgot they were working together, so it worked better than she expected. Unfortunately, Lauren is, those two are the most recent casualties. Now, what essentially that dynamic is, Vince and Morgan were a marriage of convenience. Morgan is that rich wife. Vince has a girlfriend who he really loves, Lauren. Now, Morgan has all the power, so obviously Vince, she's got him by the bollocks. And then Lauren, who is asking him, when are you going to leave her? When are you going to leave her? When are you going to take me? Now, Morgan has all the power because she has all the money. Vince, she tells him he has to give up his girlfriend. That's essentially what happened. That is the dynamic that was created. He had to give up his girlfriend for his rich wife, because he does not have any of the power really. But now that Lauren is gone, it will be interesting to see if Vince stays under that shield that Morgan gives him and waits for the right time to strike, or if his ego makes him act out now. I think he will stay under the radar, because so far because he lives at home, he is not opposed to living off of a woman, let's just say that. So it's already in his character. He is not above his ego. He's not prideful in that way. I think he will be able to keeping it in until if he and Morgan, if she takes him, because I think she will, now that she thinks she has him to herself, and he will use it. But now, ladies, just like in a relationship, you hurt him, yes, he will stay with you, but he will wait for that perfect time. He will wait 10 years, 20 years, 30, however long it takes, and they say women are spiteful, they say women hold out, they say all that stuff about women. Men can be worse, because men are physically strong, and they can, the number one unaliver of most women are their fellas. So think about that when you pick a fella and when you wrong your fella. Just because you think he's gotten over it, just because you think you've got him in line, which is why I tell my clients, do not try to train a fella. Do not try and train him. Do not change him. He will resent you. He will become something that will resent you, leave you, pick something that he feels is better, that doesn't know him in that lower state that he associates with you. And then that new person will appreciate him at that level that he is in, and then he will destroy you, because he doesn't want any remembrance of how he was, and he doesn't want you to keep bringing that up to him and possibly sully his new life. So this is a great example for us to witness. And it's also going to be amazing to see where Vince takes it, because in my opinion, by right, Vince should win. He is putting in the most work with all of the women. He has shown the most he has shown what society, like all of the winners seem to show what society is like at that time. So he represents the male part of society right now. But then you could also say that Morgan represents that matriarchal. However, we will see, because everyone's gunning for her now, she may get evicted. So ironically, my top three are Morgan, Vince, and Keanu. I feel that Vince deserves it. I feel that Morgan could win it. Keanu by sheer force, but Keanu has a shit social game. So we'll see how far he gets with that. He may be able to salvage it with Ava and blah blah blah. But to be honest, I want Ava out because of what she did with Rachel. I cannot stand her anymore. I was hoping she was gone in the double eviction, but neither here nor there. The final three that I want are Vince, Morgan, Keanu. Those are my final three. Ashley maybe the final four, and then from there it's up to them. My number one, ironically, like I said, would be Vince. I don't necessarily think he is the best person, but I do believe that he represented this game and he played it the best in a dodgy way. Because he worked the hardest. He had his hands in every plate. He's won 3 head of households. He's done so much work, and he almost juggled it to the end. But yeah, he didn't realize he picked not a girl. She's a little bit crazy. She's ultimatums. Yeah, that's what I tell you not to do in relationships. So that may bite her in the bum. So we'll see how that one plays out. But to be honest, it would be fun with all these women in the house if it came down to the battle of for the women, it may come down to the battle of the fittest male between Keanu and Vince, just like I was saying earlier with how the matriarchy breaks down to one male. So it will be interesting to see which male is left. It will be interesting to see if the final two are women. Like I said, I hope it's Keanu, Vince, Morgan. However, they may get Keanu out. If that is the case, Vince, Morgan, and Ashley. Yeah, but I think Vince and Morgan will be in the top 3 if he does not go after her. Actually, Keanu might as well, but I think Keanu may fall on his sword at some point, unfortunately, because he has no social game. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I do like that it's turning out to be a matriarchal society, because that is kind of mirroring how society is feeling right now. So I am very excited to see where this goes from now. I thought I would hate it after Rachel left, but She set up the groundwork. So go, Rachel. It's great that we still get to hear from you. And go, matriarch. And I know that's controversial, but hey, things would be more peaceful, smoother, and the earth would be greener. But that's my personal opinion. But let's keep it on Big Brother, and we'll see what happens next week. Okay, this week's movie recommendation is K-pop Demon Hunters. Now, it is anime, and it is a cartoon, and it is a musical, and that may strike a few nerves for some people. However, it is incredibly spiritual. It has loads of spiritual themes. It is so uplifting, and you really need to watch this. It has a cute little love story in a way, and it Rumi, who is the lead character in this, is actually half demon, so she's half of what she hunts to kill, which is a very strong shadow self themes and images. Hiding who you are, not letting those closest to you know, even in, which is actually a lot of people in this world are like that, and unfortunately do not feel safe enough to be themselves. And and there's some very strong, powerful themes in there, some very spiritual messages and uplifting things in the lyrics. It is visually stimulating, beautiful, and it's just a cute, fun film, and it goes by very fast. You don't really have to think about it. It just kind of lifts you up and tells you things. So I mean, it just check it out. Even if you don't like cartoons, even if you don't like anime, just put it on for 5 minutes and see if it'll take you. Most people have watched cartoons. Most people can probably get back into it. I personally love anime, so and because a lot of hidden themes and a lot of the writers and the Asian perspectives are very insightful, so I like to watch those, and they're very spiritual and ethereal. But yeah, check it out. It's K-pop Demon Hunters. I believe it is just on Netflix. I am not sure, but yes, check it out. It's great. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Religious folks need to click off. Sinners, give it up for Varolga Leilani.
I'm single, so to keep myself off the streets, sometimes I watch porn. And I find it very difficult for me to watch porn because I can't get into it if it doesn't make sense. It takes me 30 minutes just to try and find something. And then I just give up because the titles keep putting my thoughts in a loop. I mean, the titles are things like how I made it with my babysitter whilst my wife was taking a shower. And then all I can focus on is, why is there a babysitter with both parents home? Shouldn't the wife be suspicious? Is there even a baby? And if there is, who's watching it? But mum's in the shower and daddy's shagging the sitter. I start looking for the number to CPS instead of my G-spot. And then I just lose the urge. Can anyone help? Taking suggestions.
Let's do this. And check out the latest from Aglorev Entertainment for all of your level up needs.